Patriots on the field in Foxborough today, and look who was out there with them. That is Josh Gordon, who was conditionally reinstated by the league on Friday and allowed to rejoin his team yesterday. They didn't do anything then, so this was effectively day one for him. And Bill Belichick was about as excited about it as you would expect.
Yeah, I mean, I'll release a statement on that. I have nothing to add to it. That's where we're at.
Did he come in and, or how would you describe it? Did he come in good shape, or are you pleased with how he maintained himself?
Yeah, I think I've already covered all that.
Bill,
did you get a copy of the statement?
I saw it on Twitter, but it's been a couple of months.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, I don't do my face, but I mean, we're happy to give you a copy of it. That's where I'm at.
And just in case that doesn't clarify everything you want to know, Mike Giardi has more from Foxborough.
Well, we got our first look at Josh Gordon today. Saw him briefly in the locker room. He politely declined to speak. Put his locker right next to Ben Watson's, of course, a very respected veteran. And later we did see him at the media access portion of practice, hat on backwards, sleeveless shirt. He looks very jacked, as you would expect. Belichick, as you heard there, wouldn't really go into Gordon's return. His teammates did, including Philip Dorsett, who said, "We love him, I love him." And then he reminded us about what Gordon did last year, saying, quote, "He's a physical specimen. We all know that. We're definitely hoping he can come back and do the same for us again this year," end quote. Of course, we won't see Gordon on Thursday in preseason game number 3. He remains on the non-football injury list.
Yeah, that means he can't practice or play until he's taken off it. Just one of the steps that New England's taking to ease him back in. And as you see here, they have good reason to want him back in. Gordon, third on the team last year in receiving yards, first in yards per catch and 20-plus yard catches, and tied for third in receiving touchdowns. That was despite only having played in 11 games. That said, he does come with baggage, and the Patriots were burned by that baggage last year. How do you think that experience might inform their approach this time around?
I mean, you hear Coach Belichick just in his tone. It's not, they aren't throwing a parade for Josh Gordon. He is a great football player, and they want him on that field. They want him on that team. But it's different between, hey, can we really count on this guy? And that's, I think, what the deal is. A part of the reason I think that made them go out and draft the first-round receiver is they saw how explosive a guy at that position can be. They've undervalued that position for so many years. And so now to have a guy like Josh Gordon back in the fold, if he can stay healthy, a guy like Harry, the rookie receiver, Demaryius Thomas, if he can come off that Achilles feeling like himself, partnered up with Julian Edelman working inside and moving those guys around and the mismatches they create with their running backs in space. I mean, this offense, the sky's the limit. But like I said, can Josh Gordon get out of his own way? And that's the one thing that I think just everybody in that locker room is kind of really on pins and needles about. You heard his teammates say, yes, we rooting for him. We want him to succeed. We want him to be a part of this team. But ultimately, it's up to Josh Gordon to make himself available to that team.
Can they create a game plan around him and count on him to be there to execute it? I think that's one of the big questions moving forward. Gordon's practice, or his presence rather at practice today, a huge story. Not the only story, though. You mentioned Julian Edelman. He was back practicing in pads for the first time since he broke his thumb in July, removed from the NFI list today, having passed his physical. So he is back, Scott.